of the other teams are focusing the jungle threat. They are more afraid of either Froggen or Tabs or trying to put Wicked on something uncomfortable. So we'll see what the Wolves prioritize today.
Well, let's see then, because the ban's actually coming in pretty quickly in this game, and so far there's a lot of focus on that mid lane. We see Twisted Fate, Lulu, and Nivea banned out by the Copenhagen Wolves, Kassadin, Ziggs, and Kale banned out there by Alliance, and that leaves the Lee Sin open, a champion that both Airwax and Shook have really shone on. And I think that may well just be the first pick here.
It's definitely something that can work in the Wolves' favor, but when you consider that Elise as well as Evelyn are up and available, I would dare argue a different pick may have been somewhat smarter. Getting a priority support, maybe taking away Lucian, if that is something that Woolite wanted to run. Keep in mind, Woolite was the first player in Europe to play Ashe this year. And it wasn't the strongest of performances, but that was based on the team's decision and their movements around the map. So very quick picks and bans from both of these teams in the first game of day 3.
Yeah, Alliance actually locking in a support in the form of Nami and taking Orianna at a very early stage here. Interesting, with so much focus on that mid lane when it comes to the bans here, what Kautar's going to go for. My instinct is telling me Yasuo, though.
It's something that he can run with, but Yasuo will have a fairly difficult time in the laning phase against Orianna, obviously thanks to the range and the zoning power that Froggen's going to have with his command attacks. What I do like about the Orianna lock-in from Alliance is because you've got 5.5 mid lane bans, Lulu who can go top and middle, it means that Froggen is secured a champion that has a very strong laning phase that can bully most of the champions that you want to run middle, and it also limits some of your options. Keep in mind, Froggen also set one of the fastest 300 CS records just 2 weeks ago on this very champion.
And he actually told me earlier on, Joe, how many Wraith camps do you think mid laners are going to take today? And I said, well, honestly, Froggen, I've got no idea. What's that for a question? And actually, I should have probably expected it since he's picking Orianna into this one. So giving me some hints without actually giving me any hints in reality. We'll see what Alliance actually lock in here. Cogmore for Tabs, who looks a little bit tired there, having a big yawn. I'm just saying, guys, probably not going to be Teemo.
No, I don't think it will be. I want to highlight what Copenhagen Wolves have locked around this Ryze. They've got late game scaling, a strong front line with Ryze. It is counterbalanced by obviously a strong laning phase, ganking jungler in the form of Lee Sin. Youngblood is not really the type that I would imagine taking Lee Sin top, and the only reason I call that out is how well Soaz has done with it this week. Regardless, what I'd like to see from Woolite and the rest of the Wolves is this Lee Sin and Twitch roaming around, maybe trying to help out Ryze in the early stages of the game. And if they can accelerate the rate at which he can find kills and opportunities, that might help Copenhagen Wolves in the long run. But they don't have a super strong early to mid-game team fight because they need items on both Ryze and potentially Jax in the scenario.
Yeah, Wolves. If you think back to the last time they played Alliance, of course, the last game in London was actually a really, really good game where Alliance looked to be getting off to that typical Dream Alliance start of getting kills, taking towers and what have you. But the Wolves showed some real character to hold on to that one, and they're going to have a similar thing on their hands today where they're getting stronger as things go on, as Ryze builds up, as Jax builds up. They've also picked in Braum as a support. So
this kind of composition that you're seeing from the Wolves, Alliance has already defeated this week. When they took down the Super Hard crew, Alliance were up against a late game scaling team, and you know, they handled them very, very well. They bought time. If I'm looking back at the team composition, it was Braum, it was Shyvana, and it was Ryze for Super Hard crew. Alliance got an early lead, then all of a sudden Super Hard crew were winning some team fights in the mid to late game, and Alliance just moved around the map and forced objectives in a smarter time frame. For Copenhagen Wolves, the key is going to be getting Jax unlocked while simultaneously getting Ryze farm. If either of them can get kills, obviously that's a big bonus. And the tools to allowing the split push and getting those lanes working, in my opinion, will be good roaming from either this Woolite Twitch or Airwax on Lee Sin. Because if they don't get ahead, it's going to be fairly easy for a Shyvana Elise Orianna combo to get damage down on a fairly linear type of team composition from Copenhagen Wolves.
Got to get off to a good start, and therefore you have to say that Airwax is probably the key man once again here for the Copenhagen Wolves. Bit of power, extra early power there with Lee Sin. We'll see if he can actually get things rolling either for Youngbuck in the top lane or Kautar in the middle. For Alliance though, as you mentioned, Orianna, a champion which we've seen everyone farming to incredible kind of levels with Shyvana as well in that top lane for Wicked, gives you that extra added ball delivery system with his ultimate.
So there's the makings of a wombo combo on the side of Alliance. If a Shyvana dives in, if Nami's tidal wave is there. But what is good about the composition is they're well-rounded. They have fairly strong engage, fairly strong flank. They've got strong disengage with Nami. So they have the jack of all trades, so to speak. And it's just going to be up to Alliance to pick the right moments to engage or disengage.
Well, now that the players have picked their champions, which lineup do you guys think is stronger? Tweet hashtag CWWin or AllWin to @LOL Esports to let us know, and we'll check the results in-game. 90% was the vote from LOLesports.com. I don't think it's going to change in terms of who you guys are voting for, but I think the percentage might drop a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you've got quite a few strong champions on the side of Copenhagen Wolves. Twitch has been somewhat hit in terms of his champion numbers in 4.10, but the itemization is more in his favor. So if he can get to the likes of that Ghostblade, Blade of the Rune King, maybe Infinity Edge stage, he has the ability to just shred through all of the members of Alliance. And we'll see if Copenhagen Wolves can get there.
Well, let's have a look. We are going into game for the Copenhagen Wolves versus Alliance. Two very different stories that these teams have. Opposite ends of the spectrum almost, with the Copenhagen Wolves lacking behind the rest of the league in last place, and Alliance destroying pretty much everyone. Only lost 2 games so far this split.
Yeah, the first thing I want to highlight is Unlimited starting with a all consumables kickoff. Got a bunch of wards as well as the cookie. And for Unlimited, this is going to be one of 2 things. Either Copenhagen Wolves want to use that vision to make some early plays and get maybe jungle invades down or roams around the map. Thanks to Braum's passive and the ambush power of Twitch, you can actually set up very good sort of ganks. Alternatively, it's going to be an incredibly defensive start for Woolite and Unlimited, and they're just going to play the extended vision game to ensure that Shook doesn't land any, 3, 4, 5 minute ganks.
Well, there is the pink ward placement. And I'm not sure that they can actually see the Alliance ward there. I think it might be just a little bit out of range. We'll find that out though as Alliance start to move forward. You see that they're actually going to have the duo lane on the bottom side of the map. Looks like Wicked going to take or look for that 1 versus 1 in the top lane. Although Bromia wandering around down there, we do indeed see that it can't actually see it.
Copenhagen Wolves can see the vision. Alliance can't see Copenhagen Wolves ward. So in terms of CW, they do have that small vision advantage, and you can see them grouping up to go for this red buff invade. So this is going to potentially just delay Shook. There's no implication of a lane swap in this scenario. Copenhagen Wolves didn't even get the ward. Just wandered on straight through it. So they will be aware of that, and it looks like Hautard is actually, once again, going to ignore the ward. So, cool story, bro.
Yeah, save that gold for later. That's what I'm going to go
What
with.
I do like, though, is in the bottom lane, Youngbuck, with the assistance of Woolite, is going to secure their own red buff. So it is a buff denial, as well as a delay on the side of Shook and Nif. Nif is obviously going to get to lane late, but the trade-off is the fact that Woolite is going to be, coming to lane very late himself. And they're going to jump on Froggen.
Oh, going straight in there. The prison comes down, but I think Froggen might have enough to survive this one. And the Contaminate comes out, burning down there as well. Poison ticking away, but Froggen survives. But that was a scary moment for Alliance.
Very scary indeed. Froggen's flash is burned, but Count on Bird both flash and ignite for that. Now Shook is the next target.
And Counter coming across and forcing an early flash out of Alliance and doing so well about this. They need to be careful here. Froggen's still very low, not recalling. And then the Root Prison Leasing goes in. And Airwax gets the first blood for the Wolves. This is a very different style for the Wolves that we're seeing. And so far, it's caught Alliance completely off guard.
Based purely on the champion picks that they have. Because Twitch plus Braum are such good champions at picking and surprising your opponents. Look, they've got Shook now.
Oh. Going low as well. Woolite was a bit scared there of actually being locked up by Nami if he'd have gone anywhere near turret range, but another little bit of a let-off there for Alliance as Shook went low. Didn't have his flash available because he used it just before that to get away from the invade from the Copenhagen Wolves in the jungle.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to keep an eye on the average levels of both of these teams. Because of the fact that Copenhagen Wolves are roaming and trying to set these ganks up, Tabs has been solo farming a lane. So he's got more experience than what Woolite will have. Even though Copenhagen Wolves have got that additional kill, because they've been moving around the lane, it becomes a battle of who can get the most experience and CS, especially for champions like Jax and Ryze. So it looks like the lanes are going to somewhat standardize, with Countodd putting himself in a 1v2, and Copenhagen Wolves putting their AD carry and support in the mid lane. Another reason I like this little move from the Wolves is if Woolites and Unlimited want to go to support Airwax or go to the side lanes, they have more options to go through their jungle and also to invade Alliance's jungle. So the makings of an aggressive map-based positional play from the Wolves.
I saw that. The bottom lane of Alliance feeling, I think, a little bit unsafe. Unsicher is a German word. I don't know where that one came from there. Good job, Joe. Speaking too much German these days. But forcing them back. And actually, Youngbuck going to go aggressive onto Wicked here. Does get the stun down, but Wicked actually turning things around. This could be a close one if they decide to go all in. Youngbuck dives across. Wicked forced to use his flash away. And that was a close one again.
Very strong start for the Copenhagen Wolves. We talked about how Braum can move around the map, and he's already running to the top lane. If Wicked had not recalled, Unlimited would have considered going for that tower dive, and he's got the support of Airwax. Now this is especially important for Alliance because their support, their numbers, comes from the bottom lane with Tabs and Nif, and they don't have the ability to move halfway across the map at a very quick pace. So if Copenhagen Wolves keep punishing and keep invading, they can even tower dive. There's a minion wave in the top, and it looks like they're going for it.
Oh, now we're going to start stacking that passive up. And when I say start, they started, and then they stopped straight away. Wicked able to clear out that minion wave and stop the Wolves coming right under it. They're actually farming between the towers here. And Alliance are going to want to stop Airwax from doing that. Unlimited has stuck around as well, and now it looks like they're going to be roaming towards that middle lane.
Yeah, so Froggen's having a difficult time against Woolite, purely because Woolite is just getting those auto attacks down using his passive fairly effectively. And if Froggen keeps trying to trade with Woolite, obviously he's going to burn through his mana pool and he loses it. The one thing that Froggen is doing well is farming under his tower. He's got a 14 CS lead over Countodd, who's currently trying to fend off both Tabs and Nif. So we'll see which mid laner and which duo comes out ahead, because Woolite is falling behind Tabs thanks to that added poke damage that he's trying to put down on Froggen.
So Unlimited again looking like he's going to wander, and they're going to try and get in for a second time behind Froggen. There is a ward down. Unlimited will scan it out. There is the cocoon landing as well, but Shook needs to be really careful. That's a lot of damage. Stun comes down. Shook gonna have to repel, but he's coming right back on top of them. Have they got the damage? They do. This Airwax have picked up the kill. 2
kills for Airwax in the opening stages of the game, thanks to very aggressive, very intelligent invades. Unlimited is playing a roaming support. Yes, he is a level down behind Nif, and he doesn't have any GP10, but he is giving gold to Airwax thanks to the fact that he's roaming and the pressure and the presence that he is applying. So very good play from Copenhagen Wolves, but the question is, can they keep it up? If they get the outer turrets down, how do they continue the aggressive plays if they extend this lead even further?
Yeah, that's the real question for me on this one. We've seen the Wolves get ahead before. They struggled to close out some of the games that they've actually won when they've started to fall behind or been a little bit unsafe, which is the right word this time. They've sometimes let those leads kind of slip away from them, just looking like they weren't really sure what the overall plan was and what the next move was. So that's going to be, especially against Alliance here, their decision making has got to be really on point.
Yeah, and again, even though Alliance are 2 kills down, if you look at CS, they're winning top lane, they're winning mid lane, they're winning AD carry, and there's 4 separating the junglers. Now, you do have to count on the fact that Airwax has those kill gold, of course, but Alliance are still keeping up from a mechanical standpoint, and they're only 500 gold behind. So, yes, it feels like Copenhagen Wolves are making all the plays, and they are definitely dictating the tempo of this game. But the moment Copenhagen Wolves slip up, or the moment one of those invades goes wrong, Alliance can turn it around. Alliance can punish a bad dive or a bad engage, and we'll see if this is the turn. Doesn't look like it, though.
Oh, going in for Frog, and he wisely just delayed his move back there so that the Q from Airwax wouldn't connect onto him. Airwax still level 5 though, so he doesn't have the kick available to really control Frog, and Froggen's already got his ultimate, so underneath the tower, that shockwave could be dangerous. Wicked actually going to dive on through, on towards Youngbuck, who turns around, puts in the stun. Wicked falling a little bit low from that one, and Youngbuck coming out on top of that trade.
So trading ultimates for ultimates, and it really felt like Wicked was just trying to shove the wave more than anything else. Ends up getting you know, a bit more damage from Youngbuck than he was anticipating, but holding his own, grabs himself that Giant's belt, and look at the movement now from Copenhagen Wolves. They've grouped up around the Dragon Pit, and they're continuing this jungle invade game where both Unlimited and Airwax are just trying to get in Alliance's face and trying to make their life very difficult. So Woolite, he's got the support, and they've caught Frogger just a little.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of damage, and a flash was burned there by Frogger. Having to get away to safety, knew that if that passive of Braum would be procced and stunned up under his tower, then he was facing a bit of a problem. Meanwhile, Youngbuck's come back into lane, gone Vamp Scepter, double Doran's Blade, has used his teleport here. Wicked's is still available, so that could become a factor.
And that all stems from Wicked's engage with his Dragon's Descent, because he cleared the wave out and bought time for him to go back, buy, and run back to lane. Oh, they're trying to dive Shook.
Yeah, going in there once again, the kick coming down. Shook actually reacting really quickly there with a flash. Gonna get the cocoon down as well. Can he get on top of Unlimited? He had the ball. Maybe looking for a shockwave setup, but nothing happening there. But the Wolves trying again, and they're gonna get the tower for it this time.
So that dive, even though it didn't get a kill, they got the flash out of Shook, and they were able to secure their first tower of the game. So it's quite smart. It's not over yet. They still want Froggen.
Unlimited coming in, and that could be a good shockwave coming down to Woolite, but it's not really got damage, and Froggen is gonna go down. Woolite picks up his first kill of the game. This is a completely different Wolves. They're looking really strong.
Yes, it is, and they are playing with a purpose. The one thing that I really like about this setup is while Copenhagen Wolves have been super aggressive and have been in Alliance's jungle the entirety of this game, Youngbuck and Coutard have been doing their best to CS. Coutard is obviously suffering because he's, you know, in a 1v2 setup, but Ryze and Jax are in lane, they are getting levels, and they're trying to get as much CS as they can. Copenhagen Wolves are going to secure this Dragon uncontested, and they're going to extend that gold lead to around 3,000, which is very, very good for 10 minutes. This is the number 8 team that has only picked up 3 wins in 6 weeks, 7 weeks in fact, and they are pushing Alliance around in the laning phase.
Really strong start by the Copenhagen Wolves. Wasn't expecting such a strong start, but at the same time, I think the Wolves themselves realized that, guys, we need to step this up. This current trend that we've got, only 3 wins on the board, needs to really change around. And so far, they've made some good steps to making that work out here in their final, in their first game of today's. Wicked here again, going to go towards Youngbuck, who pops his ultimate Unlimited, coming from the backside as well. So Wicked might have to be a little careful. Froggen actually coming around as well. Shook will now join in as Youngbuck will leap strike away. Wicked's got his ulti available. Are they going to try and dive it? I don't think so.
There was no shockwave for Froggen, so I think that had to be a hesitation factor. With the minion wave collecting to the tower, if the Wolves stick around, there is still the possibility of a dive. Dragon's Descent is up for Wicked, but he's going to back away from this one. And Unlimited, as manly as Braum is, just forces him away. The thing that I like about the Wolves' play is they haven't relented. Even when their dives have failed and their skill shots have missed, they carry on, and we'll see if Tabs can get away.
Oh, there is the flash going to come out, but they managed to land the Q, and then the kick right back into Coutard, who will finish this one off. That's his Airwax that gets it, puts himself at 3-0-1 on the killing spree. And I said that Airwax surely will be a big factor in this game, and so far, it's really paying off. Right now, Wicked is in trouble as well. Unlimited going to go in, actually getting knocked back there. He's trying to man this one up with the shield and have a go at Wicked, who turns around. Meanwhile, Nip going to be caught out. Here comes Woolite from the side. Good bubble onto Woolite, but it won't save him.
So 4 kills now for Airwax. In the previous setup, he was trying to let that last hit go to Coutard, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. It was a very good flash kick, which I didn't even think he was going to do, which allowed them to get that kill onto Tabs. You do have to think that if Airwax is going to continue this level of performance, he needs that gold to be going onto the carries. You need Twitch, Jackson, Ryze to be the super beefy, super farmed members of Copenhagen Wolves if they want to continue this dominance in the mid to late game. But they've got their second tower, they've got a bigger gold lead, and there's no sign that Copenhagen Wolves are stopping. That's another buff steal.
Oh, Nip got to get caught out completely by this one. The Q from Airwax has landed. No follow through though. Was already underneath the turret. Wicked, meanwhile, may be forced to back away completely from this top lane. TP is still not up, so he seems a bit reluctant to leave this lane, knowing he'll miss a lot of farm if he does.
Yeah, this is the first time, I would say, in a few weeks where Alliance have been behind by a significant margin, and they need to play the catch-up game. This is something that Alliance, I feel, would be familiar with in the spring split, where they were struggling, where they did have troubles. And we need to see if they still have that ability to dig down, to rotate around the map, and to force objectives. Something that SK does very well when they're in scenarios like this is group up and either tower dive their opponents or react to their opponents when they're pushing side lanes. And I think Alliance, they made a gesture of that earlier where they were grouping up for a potential dive or kill on Youngbuck, and obviously it was thwarted by Unlimited's presence.
Well, I didn't recall as I thought it was going to down in this bottom lane. Instead, he sticks around, gets himself some more farm, and has actually got more at the moment than that of Tabs, plus that 1-0-1 scoreline. Look at this, the Wolves again grouping up, looking for a bit of a pick, but I'm not sure that they're going to get it here. There's a couple of wards down already from Alliance. That's a good pink ward, though, from the Wolves to clear out blue buff.
Yeah, very, very smart play. And, you know, we talked about the levels. We talked about how we need to track how the teams are doing, and Wolves are actually ahead in most of the metrics. Very good cocoon from Shook is probably going to save Frog, and I think he most likely was going to get away. He does have flash, going to flash over the wall. So, Copenhagen Wolves, just by sheer presence and positioning, force a summoner spell out of Froggen. And they're keeping this up, they're keeping this level of control up, and very importantly, they're keeping their vision up to allow them to keep making these aggressive plays.
I think Unlimited needs to grow a spectacular mustache as well, because he is doing incredibly well, this whole roaming Braum, which has been so effective for them up until now. Interested to see whether that can continue for them. We have seen a couple more items coming in. See, Blade of the Ruin King is now done for Woolite. On the other side, Tab's going for Trinity Force as his first item here on Cogmore.
Yeah, and Unlimited's foregone any of those GP10 items. Yes, he's got a Sightstone, which you could argue is GP10. We'll get back to that as Wicked is fighting Youngbuck.
And he might actually be able to take him down with this one. This is a lot of damage coming in from Wicked. He's going to have to go underneath the tower. Has his flash available, will flash in there. One more should do it. Youngbuck will jump off to the wall. And here comes Unlimited to save the day once again. And Youngbuck getting away there with just a slither of health remaining.
Yeah, you can definitely see the moustache growing in Unlimited's face, because that is such a good play. Once again, being in the right place at the right time. And while it's Airwax that is securing the kills, it has been Unlimited's presence and movement that has really allowed that to happen. He's been involved in a few of the kills, and what I really like about Unlimited is he's involved in the tower dives, he's involved in the defenses, and he's reading Alliance's movements very, very effectively. Does need to be a tiny bit careful though, because he is, in theory, up against the top laner alone. But nevertheless, Youngbuck is going to make it back to the lane, and he's got his Blade of the Ruin King completed. So Youngbuck also hitting those important item spikes.
Oh, Woolite going to sneak up on Tabs, and there's a surprise. He's going to pop the rat-a-tat-tat. That's a lot of damage coming in. Tabs is going to go down. The tidal wave from the side. Good bubble. Actually, no, the bubble missed. Woolite turning it around there. Ignite was down. Airwax will come in to support, and Woolite's going to survive. Good pick kill.
Very smart play, and this is what Woolite should be looking to do elsewhere as well. He's picked up a kill on Tabs, he's going to delay his next item even further, and what's even more important is the timing of that kill, because as soon as they've taken Tabs down, it's allowing Copenhagen Wolves to get another dragon and extend this gold lead even further. I am absolutely shocked, because the Wolves have never played this well all year long, and Woolite, he wants Nif now.
And he's probably going to get him here as well. There's a bubble coming out, doesn't connect, and the finisher. Woolite now on the killing spree. We saw him there on the camera, gave a big shout, and now Youngbuck, though, could be in trouble. Froggen's coming in, Shockwave is available, there it is, in position to finish off. They don't even need to use the Shockwave.
Didn't need it at all. Youngbuck just gets dropped by Alliance, and we touched on how one of the only tools Alliance will have to make up this gold deficit is the tower dives, and they pull it off on the isolated member in the top lane. So Alliance are going to get their first tower of the game, going to pull back the gold difference, and the rest of the Wolves are now pushing the other lanes. Look at bottom inner turret, look at mid inner turret. Joe, in the pregame, I called out Airwax as well as Woolite and said, since losing Amazing and Forgiven, these two guys need to step up. 4-0-1, 3-0-1. They've definitely told me to sit down and shut up.
They have, and well, you can't really argue with his performance. Both of them doing so well, and now the Wolves continue to pressure on this inner turret. They're going to take that. Alliance can't defend it. And where has this Copenhagen Wolves team been for the last 7 weeks?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. And you just can't do anything but really praise the decision making. They've got a massive lead with a very good late game team composition. And yes, Alliance scales incredibly well at the same time. Cogmore, Elise, Cogmore, Orianna, Shyvana will do very well in the late game. And I feel like in terms of team fights, Alliance should have a little more in their back pockets because of all the CC. But if they group up at all, and Braum gets in with a multi-man knockup from Glacial Fissure and Youngbuck gets in there, that's scary. Alliance, let's see if they can get Woolite. The answer's no.
Nope, stealthing up. Getting out of that one, of course, the stealth, one of the little changes to him for 4.10 that we thought may dissuade a few people, and actually it has. We've seen less Twitch play in 4.10 when we compare that with 4.9, but honestly, Woolite showing here that he is most definitely viable, getting up to that Blade of the Ruin King, catching out both Tabs and Nif here in that bottom lane, started 3-0 on, and now he's got a Ghost Blade. Yeah,
it's all about the picks for Alliance. Because they are very far behind in terms of itemization on their primary carries, if Alliance are able to force Copenhagen Wolves' hand and group up for tower dives or, force a rotation and then punish a misposition, that's how Alliance can make this gold lead back. But they also need to avoid getting caught out, because look at Woolite. He's looking for Rat-a-tat-tat.
Oh, now Wax is coming in from the side. They're going to try and kick Tabs back. The flash came in. Woolite did manage to get one kill, and now they're going for more. Shock is already really low. The Q not quite got the range there, and I think Alliance might be able to walk out of this one. Froggen just coming back will get the slow onto Coutard. And Unlimited. Airwax, though, is still flanking around the side. They may go for this one. Unlimited still has his ultimate available. Airwax still has his kick as well, so if they can get in there, kick one man back, they may be able to get something started. Tabs is going to walk in. This is a face check. This is not good news for them. Airwax does get one. Shockwave finally comes down, but there's the knockabout of Unlimited. Tab's going to be focused here and killed off, and the Copenhagen Wolves picking up more kills.
This is exquisite play from Copenhagen Wolves. This all started from Woolite surprising Alliance. He blew Nif up before Nif could even throw the tidal wave down. And then the Copenhagen Wolves just chased in all the right ways and managed to pick up even more kills. 5 kills on Airwax, 5 kills in Woolite. They grabbed their 4th tower of the game, and they're going to continue the siege. Alliance cannot team fight. They are so far behind that the only way they can win a straight-up fight is if they catch Copenhagen Wolves completely by surprise. And for the time being, I don't think that's possible, because the Wolves have just done such a good job at vision, have done such a good job at moving around the map, and they are making Alliance look like SK Gaming yesterday. The way Alliance punished SK, Copenhagen Wolves are punishing Alliance.
Well, I mean, everyone I think expected this to be the complete opposite. Alliance doing this to the Copenhagen Wolves, but Wolves showing that they might be down at the bottom of the league on only 3 wins under their belt up until now, but it's not over until the end of the season comes around, and they're playing for their livelihoods here, and you can see that there seems to be a newfound motivation for the Wolves. It's almost as if someone's given a kick up the backside and said, guys, get it together, because we can't afford to keep going like this.
20 minutes into the game, and the Wolves have still not let up this presence in Alliance's jungle, and they're going to continue making moves. Copenhagen Wolves are going to discover this ward from Alliance, and Alliance can't contest. I mean, Alliance really can't pick these fights. They're 8,000 gold down, there or thereabouts, and we haven't seen any initiations. We haven't seen any plays from Alliance because they haven't been able to. They've been playing reactively, and they've been playing at the Wolves' tempo.
Baron, though, something that could easily change this game. Woolite, oh, he's playing dangerously. Actually, he's going to catch out Shook. That's a decent chunk of damage. Are they going to go back towards Baron now after doing that damage to the Alliance jungler? I think Baron would be such a good way to lose this game now for the Copenhagen Wolves. I have to say it, because we've seen it before, but they're doing a good job here of keeping Alliance really busy in that mid lane. We are going to see the damage coming down. Shockwave used for Unlimited, tanking up, and meanwhile, the Baron is going lower and lower and lower. Will they be able to finish it off in time? They do! The Wolves pick up the Baron, and another great move for them. Meanwhile, Woolite's going to stealth up once again. Can he catch anyone out? Who's he going to go for? He's going to go for Tab. The damage from Rat-a-tat-tat, but a good bubble for the disengage, but they're losing this tower, surely.
Alliance got completely baited into that 5v2. They threw a bunch of ultimates at the Wolves, didn't even get the kill. So a 23-minute Baron for the Copenhagen Wolves. It opens them up to an inhibitor turret, inner turret rather. Alliance were already playing passive, were already playing defensive against the Wolves. With the 10,000 gold lead and Baron buff, Alliance need to turtle under their inhibitor turrets and not leave for another 15 minutes to try and make up this gold difference and become relevant again, because they're simply being outclassed.
Destroyed, aren't they, really? There's no real kind way to say it from Alliance's side, but the Copenhagen Wolves coming absolutely flying into this game. We heard from Youngbuck, special tactics may be needed against Lions. They've got nothing to lose coming into this game, and maybe that's what's been a problem for the Copenhagen Wolves, that they've had all this pressure on them, knowing that things aren't going so well. Maybe they needed a kind of pressure-off scenario where no one expected them to win. 90% of you guys on worldesports.com voted for Alliance to win this game. It seems like these 90% votes seem to be a bit of a curse for some of these teams.
Okay, if this game continues going the way that it is, Alliance will have lost 2 games where the public opinion was 90% and above. It happened against the Super Hot Crew at the beginning of the split. It's happening right now in front of your eyes. And those special tactics, we assumed were going to be picks. We assumed they were going to be unique champions because Youngbuck is not averse to playing oddball champions. And it wasn't that. It was the 2v1 mid lane. And it was just a very, very heavy map-based strategy. And thanks to the Wolves actually finding the kills and, more importantly, maintaining vision control, that's what's allowed them to punish Alliance. Every time you look at that mini-map, there is 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 wards down on the mini-map, and it's just so good for them.
71%. It's funny how 25 minutes can change everyone's mind. Hard to argue. I actually expected it to be more like 90% for the Wolves at this point, considering how this game has now gone. The Wolves just waltzing on in, finishing off that inner turret, looking now maybe towards the inhibitor. Woolite gonna get bubbled up, Unlimited gonna block everything out though.
It's very important for Nif to time his tidal wave. If he throws that down into Unlimited's unbreakable shield, it will just completely mitigate that spell. So Alliance need to be baiting out the unbreakable shield from Unlimited, and then Finn and Shook's in trouble.
Shook getting caught last second. Repel though will mean that he can stay alive, but he's forced away that leaves 5 versus 4 underneath the turret. Actually 4 versus 4, because look at Jax. Youngbuck is pushing out that bottom lane as well. TP available if he needs to get in for a fight.
Yeah, we need to see how Alliance decide to defend this. No key spells have been used yet, and Tabs is fighting so far behind. He's only got a Cutlass and Triforce. That's a good bubble.
2-man bubble, but there we see actually Airwax going very deep onto it. Tidal Wave does come out. Unlimited uses his ulti. There's a 2-man Shockwave. He's got the AD carry. There's also Summoner heal being used, and there's a turnaround. Woolite dominating. Is he going to get Shook as well? I think there's enough damage from the poison. It's a double for Woolite, putting him up to 7-0-1, and this is the inhib.
They're definitely going to get the inhib with Froggen and Shook down. They're going to secure the objective. It may not be over, as Youngbuck has got a minion wave on the bottom half of the turret. There's a minion wave pushing up the middle lane as well. The Copenhagen Wolves have got 20 seconds before Alliance are back at full force, and they are punishing the base of Alliance.
Yeah, this is going to be a second inhibitor for the Copenhagen Wolves, leaving just that mid lane, which, as you rightly pointed out, is pushing in favor of the Wolves. And a swift move there, and I thought with that shockwave coming down, with the bubble starting it off, that the Copenhagen Wolves might be in a little bit of trouble, but they're just so far ahead in this game that it's even hard when Alliance get a good opener like that to finish off the kills.
There are no words to describe what is happening. Cowtard's been jumped on, but it's Shook, the one that you are in fear of his life. We'll see if he can get away.
Nope. Woolite gonna get that one. Legendary now at 8-0-1, and they're just gonna bully their way in onto the turret. You see the Alliance backing away from it completely, knowing that they can't stand and defend, and they've only got the Nexus turret and the Nexus left.
I have no idea where Copenhagen Wolves have found this level of performance. They have just melted Alliance in every single regard. Individual play, team play, map movements. I mean, even the swag flash away from the bubble, and Woolite is going to look for more.
And there we see Wicked diving in. They use the shockwave. They don't even get the support down, and Woolite is just dumping on them from the backside there. Couldn't quite get the damage to finish off another kill, but he may have done enough damage to force them away and have a good go on these inhib turrets. Here he goes once again around the side, going to go on towards Tab, who's surely going to go down. No, he seems to have got away, at least for now. Back onto the fountain, got no health remaining. A kill for Rise, and this is surely the game for the Wolves. They're very, very low though. They need to be a little bit careful here. Well, they're going to rip through those Nexus turrets. First one already going down, second one full HP, but Alliance coming back out of the base in full health. I think that's enough of that push now for the Wolves.
There are so many super minions for Alliance to deal with. They don't even have the items to clear these waves super quickly. Towers are going down. There's nothing left for the Alliance base to defend. They've held onto it. Oh, the turrets, the minions got it. There's only a Nexus remaining at 28 minutes on the clock. And Copenhagen Wolves are going to close this game out at some point in the not too distant future.
And if you'd have said to me, Joe, Alliance are going to get destroyed today by the Copenhagen Wolves in maybe half an hour game and only get 1 kill and 1 turret, I probably would have just laughed at you and said, I don't know what you are even thinking about there, because this outcome did not look possible considering the form that both of these teams have been. Alliance here struggling with the super minions in their own base right now with that Nexus already taking a little bit of a beating. And look at this, the Wolves have healed up. They spent all the gold that they had. Some of them have sat on 3,000 gold after that, and they're going to come straight back in and try and win it.
There's next to nothing Alliance can do to defend this push. Copenhagen Wolves looks like they're just going to focus the Nexus.
There we go, dive comes in. We are going to see the shockwave coming out, but Shook going to be focused. Woolite now legendary. There is a dive onto the fountain. Does go down, but Woolite gets another kill. Nexus is finished off, and in less than half an hour, the Copenhagen Wolves pull off the shock of the split so far and take down Alliance. Wow.
Now that howl is something we have not heard in a while. Woolite was ecstatic after that win. 11-0-2. His team played phenomenally around him, and the Copenhagen Wolves completely decimate Alliance. Alliance never get a chance to do anything. They never get a chance to fight back.
I'm a little bit lost for words from this one. I did not expect today of all days to go like this. And it wasn't even a close, I don't want to say hard fought, because the Copenhagen Wolves obviously came into this very prepared, but it wasn't a close game. Alliance didn't really have anything to say about it. As I said, they got 2 kills, one of which was on to Airwax right at the end with the help of the Fountain. They got 1 tower in this game. They were almost 20,000 gold behind by the end of it. And Alliance, whether they underestimated the Copenhagen Wolves here somewhat, I'm not sure. I'd look.
Thank you very much, Joe. First off, congratulations, unbelievable. Tell me how good it felt to be able to do that howl again here on stage after that win.
Well, it has been a while, so it felt very amazing, especially after the first 2 losses that we thought that we actually had a chance of winning. We go into this match knowing that if we play their game, it will be very tough. So we said we're going to try to surprise them, and Woolite actually came up with the idea of giving himself the red buff and ganking level 2. And we just wanted to take Shook out of the game with all the invades we did and constantly putting pressure on them.
All right, so you have that plan in your head, and it does work out in the beginning. So at what point in the game do you know we can just do anything we want right here?
For me, it was hard to see. I was very busy with Wicked. He was playing very well, and he knew the matchup. So I had my problems, and I was just focused on my own game. I didn't really have anything to do with this strategy. So it was mostly the jungler and mid lane roaming a lot.
Then tell me a little bit more in the scope of things, because this was an awesome victory against the #1 team, but still only 4 wins up in the season. So what's the thought process going into the next games in the season here?
Well, we're trying to aim for a playoff spot right now. It's pretty hard, especially after the first 2 losses, but we said that if we can get 1 or 2 wins today, then we still have a chance to go there.
Yeah, you actually said on Twitter, we're going to go full EU LCS today and beat SK and Alliance 1 down. What'll be the key to taking down SK Gaming?
Maybe not as hard of a cheese as we did this game, but maybe something different than usual.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Whew, what a game. We're going to need a break after that. We're going to upgrade our footwear to Boots of Swiftness so we can be back in 3.5 for Millennium versus the Super Hot Crew.